Welcome back to the lunch table, food for thought. I'm Nico. Blitz. Subscribe, like, comment, do all that because it really helps us out, man. Today is probably one of the most important interviews I'm doing of my young life because I never really imagined that this day would come. Back in, I don't know, maybe 2010 or something, my boy Alvin, he was like, yo, you need to listen to this dude. I listened to him and I'm like, yo, he's fucking referencing video games in his songs. And the shit that he stands for, just being a square in a fucking circle, like the concept of that alone was just so fucking crazy to me. And you guys who have listened to this podcast before, I always talk about how J. Cole's my favorite rapper. But before J. Cole came this guy, he is the Squarian.
Yes.
He is from Wichita, Kansas.
Yes, sir.
He is Vizzy, XToTheV.
Yeah.
He goes by the name of, you also might know him as Donovan.
Yeah,
but
you might even know me as Donovan.
He goes by the name of XV. XV, what's poppin', man?
What's poppin', my G? How you doing?
Yo, man, before we start this podcast, I got to show you how much of an OG fan I am.
Okay, show me. Break it.
Bro.
Yo, look at the shirt.
Bro.
Look, and it's not,
Bro.
it's like the wear and tear ain't bad,
and tear.
and that's like 2011.
Bro, this shit is old as fuck, bro. Old as fuck.
Riding through the city with my day one,
Also,
yeah, that's money.
I got
that's
this thing too, man.
Oh, wow.
This thing too. This is a piece of gold.
Is this one I sent or this one I like?
You sent that, bro.
I sent this to you. I'm about to say this is the silver. I sent, man. Yo.
Man.
Wow.
Wow. That's why it's moments like this, bro, that are like so fucking special to me, man.
That's crazy.
So
that's
special.
2011 when that's happened.
Zero Heroes.
Yeah.
Man, so like I was even telling Taylor, like, yo, like as soon as you responded to my email, I was freaking the fuck out,
man,
bro.
Let's go, Nico. Let's go. Let's go. You know what was crazy? With me, the universe worked in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
Because first off, you have my nephew's name, Nico. So I'm like, when it pops up, I'm like, Nico? Oh, snap. Okay, this is somebody who's writing me. All right, this is crazy. So then I read what you said, and what you said, 10 years. Like, I've been Squarian for 10 years. Like, everything about, like, what you stood for, what you... automatically... I had to reply to that. So it was a mutual understanding, man. And you mess with a dude that I rock with that you didn't even know that I rock with.
No, actually, you asked me that question last night, and let me tell you why. I was very particular in who I was gonna pitch to you. So this is my secret, right? When I pitch to people, like I will go on their Instagram, and then the most helpful thing is like, so and so is following who.
Yes,
so I was like, why the fuck does he know Phay? And I wasn't gonna ask Phay.
Right.
So then I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna just type up Phay's name because I've already interviewed him and shit. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess you know what I mean. Like you guys had that association. And he told me like, yo, like Phay, I have a new song with Phay.
Yes, like a few songs. That's what's crazy. That's what's crazy. Like. When you said Phay, I showed my manager like Phay's on the come up, and I'm always telling my manager like, yo, this dude Phay's dope, whatever. And you saying that even like made you even more official to me. Like I'm definitely doing this.
So
you know
funny.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it just showed me you're on the you're not only on the rise, but you're also paying homage to those people that you saw automatically. I was going to be in LA, and I was going to be like, hey, I'm an opportunity dude. Like I was like basically born out of opportunities. I'm born of opportunities. So it's like what I look at is how can I help other people manifest those opportunities. You came out there. I'm like, hey, I want to be in the city. You're a Squarian, a day one. Yeah. L7, real one. So
that's what's up, bro. Thank you.
I love it.
So the land of opportunities.
Yeah.
Wichita, Kansas.
Yeah.
What was it like?
Not so much. I mean, if you really think about what a small town has to offer, it's great for the human life, which is just family, home, foundation. It allows foundation. It doesn't allow you to be mixed up in so much of the city life. And I'm not saying like we're a big city, of course, but the city life as in you have more community rather than a huge
A lot of people looking at you.
yeah, like rather than people trying to follow whatever the trend is or what's trendy. It's what the community wants, and it's what the community desires or the community needs. So that's why you have the Bible Belt, because those small communities are still based in maybe older times or more not as modern at times that other cities are. And I feel like Wichita, we have that Bible Belt mentality where there's more churches than, of course, recording studios.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's not a bad thing, but at the same time, it makes people who are looking for those opportunities think they're not here. Let me get on out of here. And so what happens is we lose resources, actors, actresses, directors, film directors, creators, cartoonists, architects, all to big cities who say, I can't do nothing here. Let me get out of here as soon as possible. And so with me, I realized that, and I didn't want to do that, like continue that, chain in that process, because as far as hip hop, we haven't got nowhere doing it. There's a lot of people in my city who have, moved and got record deals or done something somewhere else, but they moved at such a young age, or like I said, they said this ain't no opportunity around here, so young that we lost, like the people like his name's slipping my mind right now. I'll come back to it.
Yeah.
But he's from Fort Scott, Kansas, and there's so many actors who have just moved out of Wichita or Kansas, small towns in Kansas, because there aren't those opportunities. And rap, forget about it.
Ain't nobody.
Forget about it.
Even outside of you, I can't really think of anybody.
Not Kansas. If you go to Missouri, you get Tech Nine, and you get
for sure.
St. Louis, where you have Nelly and Huey and Chingy, and that's what I mean. Is that when you're not that far away, not that many hours away, Dallas, Yellow Beezy, and Duro,
But
you can see
but
other
it's like
successes.
I don't understand why, like before even J. Cole came out, right? Like I didn't really know anybody from like North Carolina, but then he came out the gates, Fayetteville.
Yes.
It's like, well, so then how come, aside from yourself, there hasn't been anybody who really wants to champion Kansas?
That's what I actually have told J. Cole one time, is that when he came out, I loved the fact that he was like, North Carolina has, Little Brother and Ninth Wonder. They have a few hip hop, moments. Hey, North Carolina, throw your hands up. They have those moments that I know J. Cole looked at and thought, that ain't really a moment for us. That's not a moment for where I'm from.
Yeah.
That ain't a moment for Fayetteville. I related to that because a lot of people would say Kansas City and say Tech Nine. I'm like, that's not a moment for me, though. That's not a moment for... So him coming up and championing that, it was the beginning of what you're about to see in 2019, 2020, 2021. Because before that, it didn't happen. But I tell people all the time, hip-hop is not a old art. It's not an old art form. It's 39 years old. It's 39 right now. You understand? The first rap album came out in 1979. It didn't come out in 1930, 1920, like some rock albums did.
Damn, it's so young when you put it that way, dude. It's really
1979. Young. Before 1979, you can't give me a rap album.
Yeah.
It's not one person going, hey, my man, we got to get today. That's not happening before 1979.
Yeah.
1970s, 1960s, it's singers and soul singers. And you have to remember, slavery, that's where the rappers come from.
Yeah.
So that's also there. And so 1900s, you don't have any of that. You have us shaping rock music.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you have us doing, shaping blues music, shaping folk music. But we're not shaping hip-hop. Hip-hop comes as a lyrical art form. once all of these other art forms have now taken place. And there's no other art forms in music that are like lyrical the way rap is.
For sure.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Where it's based on lyrics. You can have a rapper like MF Doom who might not have flow, charisma, look, style, none of that. He doesn't have none of those things.
Yeah.
He raps just like this, but his pattern is so spiff, and I don't understand how he does this shit. But people love it.
Yeah.
And it's hip hop and it's raw and it's the emotion, and he doesn't have to have all of the quirks and like what a pop star might have, or what an R&B star or a soul singer. Like she can't hit those.
Well, that's
notes.
why I think like in terms of like hip hop, like in regards to the entire music industry, it's the only genre in which I feel like artists are actually comfortable being themselves.
Yes.
But now I think we're seeing like this renaissance in which, let's say the SoundCloud rap. I tell all these new artists, it's like, you know, don't aim to be the SoundCloud artist, or you know what I mean, like
artist,
because like that's what's pop music right now.
What I noticed is that in the 39 years of hip hop, that has happened in small increments of years, and we don't notice it, where we think that everybody's following this SoundCloud rap, but it's like everybody is going to do that when there's something popular wins. Like we see it right now with comic book movies.
Yeah.
When the Marvel Cinematic Universe really started winning, they didn't do it right in 2008.
Yeah.
If they did it in 2008, they really could have won, because 2008 is when Iron Man comes out, right? In 2008, when Iron Man comes out, Dark Knight's out.
Yeah.
And Dark Knight's winning. Nobody's saying cinematic universe yet. Nobody's thinking it. I'm like, I would have been, but there's a reason why nobody was thinking that, because it was already in motion with the Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2, Avengers. They were already putting it in motion.
Yeah.
So when everybody did it, they were too late.
Gotcha,
They're already 16 movies in. We're already ahead of the game because it was our idea. It's kind of like SoundCloud rap. The people who are doing that, I tell people all the time, I knew a lot of those artists. Like Made in Tokyo was coming up when I'm coming up. It just so happened that SoundCloud worked for his flow, for his sound.
Yeah.
I saw that movement coming in the crowds of the Big Crit shows, in the crowds of the Sci-Hi shows, in the crowds of the Nipsey shows and the YG shows. Those kids, the Ski Mask Slump Gods, were in those crowds. And they were thinking, I'm going to rock this show one day. And they thought, they saw all these people being themselves and winning.
Yeah.
On an independent level, not needing a label. And that's what created that whole generation of SoundCloud artists.
Exactly. And I think even like
that's why I took my break.
Yeah.
I saw it happening. I saw that. I said, all of these kids are going to be the next. Chief Keef was the first person I said. When he
Really?
came, I said, because he blew up off of YouTube. And people were watching his YouTube video, not his single, or there was no streaming really. So everybody was watching, his YouTube video. I remember the day I watched it in the studio with me, Just Blaze, and Donis.
Yeah.
All right, and you can look at my Instagram, and there's a picture of us all in the studio. That day, I saw Chief Keef with Just Blaze. He's like, have you heard of this dude, Chief Keef? I'm like, nah, I heard about him. I haven't watched nothing. He plays me a video. I'm like, this is intense. And he's like, look how many views it got. It had like 1.7 million views. And I'm like, what? And my boy liked it, who's younger.
Yeah.
And he's way young. He's like 19 years old. And he's like, that shit was so hard. And that's when all of a sudden this starts coming. That wasn't there when I'm coming up.
Yeah.
I saw that evolution change.
So then when did that all start then? Because Chief Keef wasn't the one who like led the...
No,
you know what I mean?
trap movement, no. You have to remember that Rick Ross is winning with trap drums. So all that happened was we're already getting the Chicago stories in the news. All that followed it was the music. It's kind of like L.A. L.A., the gangbanging culture was there before NWA.
Yeah,
NWA
for sure.
just put it out there,
Yeah.
and they monetized it with music. And that's kind of what I feel like the Chicago, the Chirac movement, because after Chief Keef, you get Little Bibby,
So Chief Keef was the first one to monetize it, but it had always been around.
Yeah, it had been around. But before that Chief Keef movement, before that whole GBE movement happened, there wouldn't have been an art. You know who art SBE?
Yeah.
Like they wouldn't exist if GBE doesn't exist.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Because GBE sets that up. Just like our group of freshmen set that up. We can do this ourselves. All we need is a videographer. All we need is a boom, because they're seeing us doing that.
Yeah.
Like, I remember we're shooting videos in Chicago, and there will be like Chicago rappers watching us shooting UFC and coming up to us like, yo, what are y'all doing? What's your name? Kimbe X?
Yeah.
I met him that way.
Oh,
That's how
crazy.
I met him.
Just off of like fucking music video shit?
I'm walking
dope.
down the street, and he's like, that's the kid with the green backpack. And he knew me on blogs, and it's him, Alex Wiley, and Chance. And I'm like, who are y'all? I'll never forget that, because as they start popping, I'm like, those are the kids. I would show my boys, like, you remember these niggas? They were annoying us, because they weren't talking shit, but they were like, you know, they were being like kids.
Like them the motherfuckers that were like just watching the music video. That's crazy.
Yeah. And so as I see that evolve, and I see how they're evolving now, I just know, you know, the Chief Keefs, they're the ones that SoundCloud rap. They're going to evolve. I feel like the next wave is going to be what Nipsey and
YG
and
J-Rock and all them are starting.
Have all kind of showed, which is grind hard. You can like stay in the game for a long. YG's been in the game for a minute.
Nipsey
you know,
too, bro.
Nipsey too. They're going to show that longevity, but in your brand and being yourself and giving back to your community. All of those things is dope that J. Cole's and Nipsey's and the new artists are pushing that. Mm-hmm. It's been pushed, but to be honest, that was by the labels before. That was being pushed by the labels. The labels were putting that marketing on these artists because the media was giving rap a bad rap back then.
Gotcha.
So they would say, go out and do Thanksgiving drives. Go out and do toy giveaways.
But now it's just the artists willingly do all that shit.
We grew up in it. We grew up in it, and we said, why didn't it change? Why didn't the hood change? We knew people who got money out here. Why didn't it change? We're going to change it then. Now it's like I feel like we are that audience of people. We're that age where we're going to be like that. Literally, the people who are going to say, we're changing this. We're reforming this. We're adding character to our nation. We're going to be those people.
So then, from your perspective, what pushed the artists to want to take, I guess, the pressure off the record labels to change the look of hip hop? Like, what made artists want to like really go back to their communities and say like, yo, we don't need the record labels to do this shit because we could do this shit?
I want to say the idea that they weren't making. I have a line on one of my songs where I say, but it's turning every minute. Guess that's how you cook a steak. But they don't get a meal to even put up on their plate. So they look at it like the games turn, like they get these singles turning and spinning every minute, and they go, yeah, I'm popping, but why am I not making money? Why am I not seeing like success? Why am I not seeing growth in and why can't I actually make change happen? I'm making tons of money. How can't I make change happen? And then they realize that it's because you're not making your full maximum potential. You're cutting off little pieces. And those little pieces that you're cutting off, you could actually do.
Yeah.
Once you look at it, you go, oh, I could do this. I'm already doing all of this other stuff, and they're getting pieces of it. The little pieces that they're helping me with, I could do. Ask Russ. Russ is out there talking about like the last thing you need to look at when you get a deal is your advance. It's the truest shit ever, because it's normally they're trying to show you this huge cake, but you need to look at really what it's made of. That's not. They're like, look at this cake, and you're like, wow, I've never seen nothing like this. I've never seen like you really did it, and that's what I mean. They'll give you the cars, all of that, and then we're realizing,
kind of distracting you from all the shit. You go,
and at one point, and like I said, hip hop's young, so we're learning. It's not even 50 years old yet. So, like rock, it went through a lot of processes. That's why they are the way they are now about sampling, and the way they are about covers, because of what they had to go through since the 20s. That's why like artists are so big on stealing music from that era, from the copyright era. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Ain't
yeah,
that crazy?
yeah, yeah.
How like the copyright era makes the older artists like AC/DC and Prince think about like, no, not streaming. I hate streaming because they're not looking at, they're from the era of people steal my music.
Yeah.
That's where I come from, no matter what. They don't look at streaming as a helpful thing. They look at it, you're stealing my music because of how they came up. People genuinely stole music. There's artists in Wichita, Kansas, who would be bigger if labels didn't steal music from them. There's artists like Rudy Love Jr. Look him up. Rudy Love Sr., Rudy Love Jr. is his son. Rudy Love Sr., people like that, they stole, like, just look up artists like that.
So then what was the reception that you were getting by having so many like random samples in your songs? Because even like When We're Done, right? You know what I mean? Like that's one of my favorite video games that you sample from.
That's the number one thing that held back the Kid with the Green Backpack.
Sampling.
I knew I couldn't capture the feeling I wanted to capture with my album without using references. It was why the Popular Culture mixtape was created.
Yeah.
Is I said, all right, fine, if I can't sample, I'll make a mixtape with all samples. That's what I'll do.
The Breaking Bad shit for sure. Yeah.
And that's what made me do that. That's why, you know, if you listen, Popular Culture, I genuinely say that I'm going to take a break. You hear like, this is goodbye.
Yeah.
At the very end of the project.
Well, that's why, like, especially after Popular Culture, I still tried to follow her music, but then pop culture was the thing that, like, that was kind of like the climax. Yeah. And then still, I was thinking, like, well, where the fuck is the Kid with the Green Backpack? So is Popular Culture kind of like what was supposed to be?
I would say Zero Heroes is more so, and Popular Culture would have been my second album. And that's all from samples not happening.
Yeah.
That's all that, because if you look at Zero Heroes, there's not one song other than Swervin', which Warner put on the EP because of that reason. There's not one song on that project that doesn't have a sample. Awesome has a sample. When We're Done's a sample. Last Hero's a sample. All those are samples. And me, I'm telling you, I love the music so much that I'm flying to any city. I'm giving up however much money to clear whatever record that I'm in love with. So like Pictures on My Wall.
Yeah.
I didn't even want to put that on Zero Heroes. I didn't want to do that because I wanted to hold on to that record. But they said, you're never going to be able to clear this sample though. You're never going to be able to get this. You're never going to be able to get that. So I said, all right, let's put it out. And if I am able to get it because of me putting it out, it only helps.
Yeah.
So I put it on there hoping, you know, maybe this will make the label see how good the song is.
So you were constantly just trying to prove the label.
Singing for my supper. I say it all the time. You know, it was just like, you know, you're singing for your supper so long, you just get tired of it. You're singing for your supper, and then all of a sudden it's like, Tupac has a clip about that. Like, at some point, the inmates are going to start rioting.
Yeah.
They're not going to be singing for their supper no more. And instead of me going down that path, I just knew I just needed to
just pull back
completely and figure out what is next for the Kid with the Green Backpack. How are you going to do that? So that's why you get all those false starts of Squarian Radio. That's where you get all that.
Yeah.
That's where you get that from.
So then even like past like what, maybe like 4 or 5 mixtapes after Pop Culture, like what was your plan afterwards?
It was like more so I'm going to do this independent, but at the same time you don't realize, and you can ask any artist who's went out there from the 2000s era, like the Ja Rules and the Ashantis and the Lloyd Banks, those kind of artists like Cameron. It's the reason why they go back to record deals, is that they go and they try to do it independently. They say, I got a big enough buzz. And that's why I say those artists, I feel like, have achieved way more than I've achieved. I haven't had a radio single. There's a lot of monumental things that happen to artists on their come up that are pivotal things that I haven't even tasted yet, that are right there for me, that I say, you know, it's weird that other artists have tasted that and they come and go. You know, that's what happens, is that they get those things and they come and go. So I feel like the Ja Rules, they don't feel like that hunger to invest their money into themselves like that anymore. They say, I've already had these $1 million companies invest in me. Why am I going to put my money up? So they try to find other people to invest their money because they think, and it kind of backfires because it takes time. You have to prove yourself again. And that's why I'm always in a state of proving myself. So I'm always in a state of, I got to get better. I can be better. I can do better. And no matter what, I've always been in a very upgradable position. Like every time I'm working on a project, I'm looking at it like, how can I upgrade? How can I become, like, how can I Tony Stark this armor? How can I make a Mark 50 of this? How can I make this better? And a lot of times that's what even held my projects back, because I'm making a song better too much. And that's pulling back from that and realizing that, like, you're never going to make anything perfect, but you have to put it out there in the universe and watch it manifest. And you'll learn more and more and more the more you put out in the universe. That's why I love painters and creators, because they can't create in their mind. They have to put the pen to the pad.
It's kind of amazing that you weren't going crazy just trying to drop your first project, you know what I mean? Because it seems like you put so much pressure on yourself on trying to perfect something that even like, it's kind of crazy even knowing everybody's nobody came out at that point.
Yep. And all of those projects were trying to make the kid with the green backpack, or trying to prove that we can make the kid with the green backpack. Maybe you'll find some songs on this project, or maybe you'll find some on this project. Zero Heroes was the perfect representation of a project that I feel like me and Seven, when we came back together and we talked, we both agreed, like, Zero Heroes should have been the album. We can agree on that, right? And he's like, yeah, for sure. From the features we got, because all of that was just a very, very organic project. Even the title of it came organically, like Everybody's Nobody. It wasn't something I said, what am I going to name it? It hit me. And everything with my new project that I'm working on hit me like that. And the only reason I feel good, like why I'm on this podcast right now and feel good about what I'm about to put out, is because I feel the same energy and the same feeling in my nuts that I felt back then. I'm like, I felt that feeling back then. I knew that this was about to happen. And it's scary, but I knew it. Other times I was forcing it and I wanted it to happen. And I just, and sometimes it's almost like you're like you're begging God for a blessing, and you're like, just give it to me, and then it makes you go crazy because you feel like you're not getting it, and you're asking.
So then would you
I just have to back off.
So then would you say that popular culture and everything else you made after Zero Heroes you are completely not satisfied with?
Right. After popular culture, I go down a path of trying to find out where XV makes sense in the Chief Keef SoundCloud era. That was the worst thing I could have done, because you never want to compare yourself to others. Comparing yourself to others is the first way of losing yourself. People do it in jobs, in relationships, in work, in school. I mean, people do it so much they don't realize how toxic that is for their actual personality. Like, they actually are taking away all of the uniqueness that they are. You can't compare to anybody. All of us are so unique, and that's kind of what's interesting about me finding out about astrology and reading books and all this type of shit, because when I get into all that, it kind of is hypocritical of that, where it seems like everybody is, a certain way, but it's not. We all are so unique and so different that nobody can, like, my manager tells me all the time when I'm going through this, my manager's trying to give me jewels and I'm not listening. That's how I knew I was different then, because there was a wall up and he's feeding me jewels, and I know about astrology and all that. As a Cancer. But as a Cancer, I have a wall up. I have a wall up. And he's trying to feed me those jewels, and he was telling me, like, when I'm like, well, here's what Wiz did, here's what did, and he's like, nah, you got to stop doing that. You got to stop doing that. You got to stop comparing yourself to, or like, and he would always say, different strokes, different folks. Different strokes, different folks. My manager's so OG. He's very, like, very blunt he don't say much. He'll just say it real straight. Like, hey, man, different folks, different strokes, And I was like, yeah, you're right. You're right.
So then was it the astrology that really helped you get out of that comparative mindset?
Yeah. Yep. It made me realize, like, just genuinely how unique I am. Like, at first it made me realize how much of the same I was. And it was almost like when I first read it, I don't expect people to understand how much I didn't believe astrology, because when you meet me, you would think I've known this my whole life or whatever.
Well, yeah, even just the conversation we were having yesterday, I'm over
Exactly.
here like, bro, this guy's been into this shit forever.
No. I've literally just got into this 5 years ago. So
During your hiatus.
yes, during
Okay.
my break. And so when I don't believe in it, the reason why, which is a very legit reason, a lot of people can understand this reason, is that I have a best friend who's the day after me, born the day after me, and he's nothing like me. So how can we both be the same sign, and we're a day apart, and we're
Yeah.
nothing alike? And I would always tell my brother that, who was into signs, and he's like, well, y'all are similar. Y'all, and we try to show it to me. I'm like, nah, I don't see it. And so my break comes and I read a book. And the reason I read a book is I didn't just like start going like, let me get into astrology. I was writing a script, and I said, man, maybe I should base my character on a sign. That's how I can give them a different like character, kind of how signs have traits.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's easier to just break down that way. So I was like, let me just give them traits of a Virgo. And I go look at Virgo because I'm basing it on Idris Elba, and I'm like, this is crazy. And I start reading it. I'm like, this sounds like my dad.
Huh.
And
Who's
so
also
then,
a Virgo.
Who's a Virgo.
Okay.
And then I go, all right, this sounds so much like my dad. Let me look at what Bounce is. And that's my manager now. My manager now is a Virgo. So then my manager's a Virgo. Then I go, where's my manager that I just had? He's a Virgo. Then I go, what was my booking agent? He's a Virgo. Then I go, what was Chitty Bang, who helped me get with my manager and my booking agent, put me on tour with Chitty Bang?
Yeah.
He's a Virgo.
Chitty Bang's a Virgo. What the fuck?
So then I go, hold on, this is too weird. This is just, do y'all, so I hit them all up, like, do y'all know this? And they're like, Ant's like, yeah, me and Chitty are the same birthday. I'm like, what?
Exact same birthday.
So the manager that found Chitty Bang has the same birthday as Chitty. Okay? So I'm like, oh, this is crazy. So then I go, let me go find out the dude who signed me. He's a Cancer. So then I'm like, hold up. And I hated the dude who signed me. I love you, but I hated him. You know what I mean? He changed like my whole perspective of the industry and of what I wanted in my career. So I'll never be able to discredit him for what he did for that.
For sure.
But when I'm in the industry, that's where my tainted, like in my jaded view comes from, is how I was seeing it through his perspective. So I'm like, he's a Cancer? And then I learn about like and it just made sense. It just made sense.
But it's not making sense to me right now.
Well, like 50 Cent and Irv Gotti.
Yeah.
They're both Cancers. So it's almost like sometimes I put it like this to people, is that a lot of times when people look at astrology and go, that's not me, or I don't think that I don't like that person's and it's the same sign as them, a lot of times it's that person's view of how they're perceived. So
Kind of like they don't like themselves.
they don't like themselves, almost like that, just like that. So
Yeah.
sometimes you might I got into a huge fight. That's what I mean. Like my life, I feel like I was meant to see this, because I got into a fight that kind of changed my life when I was a kid. And that fight, it ended up making me go to the school where I ended up becoming XV at, and meeting my chick, all these type of things that changed my life because of that fight.
Can you explain that fight?
Well, like I hit a kid, and the thing that was bad about it is that like I knocked him out, and it was just on some like bully shit. Like he was like trying to bully me because I just got to this school, and I got into a fight at another school. And what happens about fighting, I'm gonna tell anybody, like that's what people don't get about fighting. Is like when you get to school, you think you gotta like fight to like prove yourself, but there's always gonna be someone tougher, and there's gonna always be someone who wants to show you like I'm harder. So no matter what, it's a uphill battle. No matter what, you're gonna always fucking find someone. No matter what. So I ended up being that dude where go to this school and I want to prove I'm hard, so I end up just fighting people. But I keep on meeting people who want to fight me because you think you tough, huh?
Even if you think about like your entire process in terms of making music, it
Yes.
kind of also stems from that too, because you constantly have to prove yourself.
Prove myself. Going to new schools is what changed that. I was in the international baccalaureate program, so I'm literally a smart kid, in a school where I feel like I fit in, and then all of a sudden my mom takes me out of that, sends me to the public school that's hard, and all of a sudden things has changed. Like I didn't know certain slang words at this school, so it was very different, and that change, it made me start thinking, all right, put your dukes up. You got to prove to these, like, you're not soft. And that's where, while reading about the cancer, I did all of these things without knowing that's the cancer's way. Like, if you think about a crab, like if you corner a crab, ever see a crab, and that's crazy, like with a Wonkavator, sideways and slant ways.
That's how it moves.
Yeah,
Oh my fucking goodness, dude!
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Even the crab, I look at.
And you weren't even thinking of astrology when
None of it.
God,
none
dude,
of it.
Jesus
None of it. I can get my book that I'm writing. My book is called Hip Hop Stars. The whole prelude of it, I tell at least 5 stories that like changed my life that are unreal. Like, and it's all hip hop. Like Shaheem Reed, who's a Cancer, comes over my house, tells me, "You ever watch Curb Your Enthusiasm?" Because we're watching The Office, and he's like, "You ever watch Curb Your Enthusiasm? I can tell you a real, we're not talking astrology." So he's like, "I can tell you a real homebody dude." He's a Cancer too. He read this on me. I'm like, "Yeah, but I don't like Curb. My boy tried putting me onto it. I don't like it."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Let me show you an episode that I think you'll like." He shows me the episode. I fall in fucking love. Curb Your Enthusiasm that whole summer. And I don't know nothing about astrology. So when I go back and I learn about astrology, I'm like, man, like just times like that, I'll think about that story. Like, man, I remember when Shaheem Reed put me on the curb.
Yeah.
I wonder what sign Larry David is. I'll look up Larry David, Cancer. And then I'll go, what sign is Shaheem Reed? Cancer. And so, like, I don't mean to find these things.
It kind of just happens.
It just happens. And so when I'm writing, that's what made me write a book, is that it just started happening. At first, I'm writing the script. But it's like the script wasn't as interesting as this other thing I'm learning about myself and other people that I could share and help change the way people look at music. Because that's what I want to do. I want to help change the way people look at music on a lyrical level, on a listening level. And like I said, hip-hop is only 40 years old pretty much. So with that small, young age, there's still room to grow.
But I mean, what do you see what do you see in hip-hop in which you feel like people aren't understanding the lyrics?
I feel like they're not understanding the drive that comes behind it. So some people think that this person's only saying that because, like, there's people who the labels make them do that kind of stuff. And then there's people who say, that music is portraying a lifestyle that's not good for us or whatever it is. All of those different types of complaints make people like not understand the artist is the one actually creating this music.
It's so crazy because that entire like mantra that you just did is literally what I'm trying to do on this podcast. Not just with you, but for like
I know
artists,
that. I can see that
because
I see it with your questions. I see it with all of it,
bro. Yes. Because it's like I've interviewed this guy named Stupid Young, right? And I'm Asian, he's Cambodian.
Okay.
I come from straight up. I come from like a middle class family.
Okay.
He comes from a low income family.
Yeah.
And
Cambodia's
he
rough.
lives in the fucking hood, bro.
Yeah.
And it's like, to me, it's like I see him, and it's like people can look at him, feel fearful because he has like tattoos everywhere.
Yeah, shout out to all the Laos homies.
Yeah, for real. Yes. But it's like, no, at the end of the day, this motherfucker is just here to provide for his family.
Right.
And the reason why they had to get initiated into a gang was because they had to protect themselves from other people.
Yep.
So it's like, it's all these little stories that people get like the media will push, like they push gangster rap so hard, like, get away from all the gangster rappers. But it's like, bro, like there's like a domestic war going on in those communities. And you can't just just like look at that shit and be like, they're all fucking bad.
It's one of the greatest outlets. It's one of the greatest outlets for anything. Like, I've been through so many trying times, even like what we're going through right now with the loss of Mac Miller. His music is going to be the reason that loss is not too heavy, because his music will live on so long.
Yeah.
Because he genuinely put himself fully into his Triple X Tentacion as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Fully into his music, so much that as he's not here, like I talked about this earlier with my friends, it's like Tupac died at 25 years old, and I got a record deal at 25 years old. So my life,
Shit.
my whole career started at the same
When
age that
he
his
died.
ended. And when I think about when his ended and what happened after, I mean, I think about where he was at when he's alive. He's doing California Love and
Yeah.
with Roger Troutman. I'm like, he's doing Juice, and that's when he's alive. So it's amazing that they can do so many bigger things not here. And it's like that's music is the only thing that can do that. There's movies, but not so much. Like I think about that with Heath Ledger. I hate that he doesn't get to show us more of what he's capable of.
Yeah.
You understand? And that's the end of showing what he's capable of. While the artists, they create their music. They go into that studio, they dive in. They're not the actor's not the one creating the character. The actor's not the one writing the script.
They have to become it.
Yeah. So like I'm trying to show people astrology in a movie sense, because I want to do a movie stars I did too. But
Tight.
it's harder because they're acting. So I can only show you the character that they're able to portray. You know what I mean? Like this sign is good at portraying this type of sign, like the Cancer. We're good at portraying the good guy. We're the clean role. We're the positive. We're naturally that way. So like when we're not, like Vince Staples is a Cancer,
Yeah.
right? And I love Vince. Like Vince is such a Cancer that he just dope, really dope dude. And he's
You ain't doing as much antics as Vince Staples right now.
exactly. Like, he's very antic driven, but he says like, he says exactly what's on his mind, and it's like I feel like when he's saying that, it's putting out in the universe his actual aura. His actual energy.
Even in that little sense, I feel like that's the type of person you are too.
Right.
Because even just
Right.
meeting you last night, you were just going on and on and on and
Yeah.
on. I'm just like, wow, like
Yeah.
this guy can talk his that fucking ass
Yes.
off. And even now,
Yeah.
it's like, I mean, I appreciate
Yes.
it.
Of course, of
at the
course,
most,
of
but
course.
it's like, like I guess Vince in that sense is like he will take what you both have similarly,
Yeah.
but then you both are using it in different ways.
Exactly. And that's kind of what I wanted to show people, is that how to use your power in those ways in a hip hop format, because I see it like on so many different levels without meaning to. So I just think about, what if we knew? What if we? That's what made me go into like on some Star Wars shit, like literally Jedi mode. I had to go to Dagobah and learn it, and like learn how can you craft this in a way that you can tell others about it. You're not forcing nothing onto them. You're just like showing them just the rhythm that you got from that vibration. And that's all it is just a vibration of energy. And that vibration was astrology, in a way of like, you're going to need this for your next part of your journey. I didn't need that for all of these 25 years of getting my record deal, going through high school.
Yeah.
But I did it. I did all of those Cancer things still, no matter what. No matter. And so even right now, I'm still going to. Coming back, I'm going to fail. I'm going to fall. I'm not going to have the success I want automatically, like Cancers do, like we want. But me knowing that is what's going to set me up for, real life success. Because real life success is happiness. Real life success is, knowing that like your family's good, and that the people around you are good people, and that you're good to the people around you. That's what makes people successful, and that makes people feel successful. Being able to be that. That's all. And so knowing that this is what my power is and I'm capable of, the good and the bad, you can always project like your best.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's kind of what I want to put out there now with my music. Because like, I feel like I was projecting my best at a young age, and Cancers do that. Because we're a young age. Like Vince is that type of dude. He came at a young age. Like him and Matt connected at a young age, Mac Miller was the first one to bring Vince Staples on tour.
Yeah.
And put him like in the game, give him beats, all of that shit, just off the top. And every sign has an opposite. And Mac Miller is the Cancer's opposite, the Capricorn. 7 is mine. So the way Vince Staples had Mac, I had 7. And you can say that with multiple people. I can say that with 50 Cent and Jam Master Jay.
Yeah.
I can say that with Trey the Truth and Zero, who are Cancer and Capricorn. I have a whole chapter on it, so I can do this all day. You know what I mean? But it's like Pisces and Virgo. That's your opposite. So there's probably a lot of Virgos in your life, or you know a lot of Virgos, or they come across in your world.
True, yeah. And
Pisces is opposite with Virgo. Chingy. Chingy doesn't get signed by Nelly. He gets signed by Luda, who's a Virgo. You know, it's natural. It happens naturally. Even the song "My Bitch Drive an All White Range," that's Pisces and Virgo, 2 Chainz and YG. I mean, and that's what I mean. It's like right now in this day and age, they continue doing it without meaning to. So I can go to 1988 and show you Pisces and Virgo. 1993 show you 1998, and same with Aquemini. Aquemini is Kendrick and Cole, right?
Yeah.
But it's also Aquemini, Outkast, Big Boy and Andre 3000. It's also Trippie Redd and Triple X Tentacion. It's also, I can go down the list of Aquemini. Aquarius and Gemini makes me. It's Dr. Dre and Tupac. Aquemini is it's Jam Master Jay and Run DMC. It's because yeah, I can go on Gemini and Scorpio, Aquarius, Gemini.
Bro,
these are just whole different powers, and that's because people when they you know how they say the stars aligning.
Yeah. And you believe,
say that for a reason.
And you believe none of it is purposeful.
None of it is. And that's why it's like spiritual to me now. Because I go like, well, it's not purposeful. We're not doing it. Even me, I don't do it on purpose. They're not doing it on purpose. So it has to be something cosmic beyond us. And I'll never be able to find that out. That's why I'm writing about it. Okay. So maybe more people will put their stories out in the universe to show how much this connects, because the more personal you get, the more crazier it goes.
So let me ask you this then. Do you think you can be so wrapped up in astrology that it prevents you from doing...
Completely. I feel like you can be wrapped up in anything. Religion, working out. I've done so many different growth, or building exercises for ourselves, for our people, like our human mind, that you can end up, it's like a processor. You can overload your processor. We all have different types of processors. Some of us have dual processors. Some of us have single processors.
Yeah.
But you can, no matter what, if you know computers, you know that it can get like...
shit'll overheat eventually.
It'll get slow really quick. And especially if you have a lot of things going on. And I feel like if you overload your processor with that, that's kind of with me. I know I'll go on to a rant into it about Aquarius and Gemini and all of that. But that's kind of the, I'll never deny the energy that's out there. It's just like if I wanted to freestyle right now, which I could do. So, that kind of stuff right there is like that energy just comes out and you have to just accept it and see what manifests from it. But I try not to push it on too many people, or try not to put it out there.
Well, you don't want to be preachy.
Yes. Yeah. I don't want to put it out there too much, because there's a lot of people who have different takes and different philosophies. And as much as I want to share that, there's not always the time or place for those conversations. So I try to, read my rooms as much as possible. And I feel like anybody, that's what it is. Like I said, there's people who are very wrapped up in religion, but they don't show that because they'll read a room and they'll know that I'm not going to share this with everybody right now. And it's kind of just the same thing, and it helps you just feel different energies.
So then how is the astrology like either enhanced or I guess delayed the process of your new album?
Man, I would say the one thing that I think I was thinking about the other day is that 7, when I first get with him, this is all new to him too. So we have to kind of catch up on that while I'm in. He's all the way like well, let's just get this music done. And I'm like, well, let me show you like why this needs to do this. And he wasn't thinking like that. So that was also a learning process that I had to come like go through pretty much with Seven showing me that I don't need to focus fully on the dynamics of what works now that I know. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
Like, I know that Capricorn, Cancer do this. I know that Gemini did it.
Yeah.
So I don't need to focus on trying to make this connection happen. Or trying to make, because I know this person's this sign or this person's this sign or that. And I was doing that. And that things like that I've learned is why I'm like where I'm trying to come out now at. Because that I've learned so many things that what has delayed the process, what has slowed it down, that I had to kill those off.
Yeah.
I had to kill all those off. You'll hear the first record on my new album. That's what I'm doing, is I'm killing them all off. I'm killing all of any of my negativities, any of my doubts, any of my anything that was holding me back, procrastination. And astrology, I have to look at it like something like, that's for me. That's not for everybody. That's why I'm writing the book, because I feel like music's something that people need to put out there for everybody. Books are things that we can read for ourselves.
Yeah.
Everybody takes something. It's like movies. People can watch a movie and take popcorn value from it. And then some people can watch a movie and go, you get what they were talking about, right? That was about like the Mohicans.
Then you got somebody like, no. It was just a film, bro.
It was just a movie, bro. So you have to understand that like music's the one thing that is very even though it can be subjective, you know, we look at it and you're getting what you're getting. You know what you're getting. Even like from like rock music to pop music, you know what you're getting.
I would say even though it's subjective, it's like if you have like a plethora of fans,
right?
To some degree, your subjectiveness is truth.
Yes,
because you have a whole bunch of people like, you know, that's actually my truth.
That's
too.
my truth. Boom.
Yeah.
And when you can get that, and when you can get those people, I feel like that's the one thing that I love about the industry now, is that we're all getting fed.
Yeah.
We're all getting fed.
Yeah.
I feel like it hurts my heart sometimes that there's people out there who don't have like a phone with all the music on it right now. Like with like just phones should be just given out with like streaming service on it already.
Can I show you something?
Yeah. I hope you're about to show me the future of our world right now.
Check this shit out. Your library, not Apple Music.
What? This is on your phone.
Bro, this is on my phone.
Show me this.
Like all that shit.
Wow.
Everybody's Nobody.
Wow.
Pop culture.
Yo.
Vizzy Zone.
Yo.
I will tell you this,
crazy.
though. This is a very like random ass fact about like my shit.
I love it.
You know what song I just can't stand from you anymore?
Which one? Tell me. Please tell me.
So, you know, every time you plug in your iPhone, right?
I hate it. Awesome.
No.
Every time. Go ahead.
Mine
is awesome. Mine comes on awesome every time.
It's the first song, right?
Yep.
Mine is ADD.
Oh! Darn. ADD was mine for a minute too. It's because of the A.
And then the period afterwards.
And then the period. I had mine was Drake's it's a song with Lloyd. Spending every moment. Oh my God, I heard that song.
The radio. Yeah.
Every single time I get in my car. So like mine now is awesome because that's not mine. So whenever I get in my car and you know you like
it's
what
the
you're saying,
first song,
you plug it in, you go to USB. Dun, 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 dun. Oh my God.
Fuck this shit.
So if you were gonna say awesome, I understand because mine goes to AW first. But yeah, that's
hella funny.
Yeah, I don't want to hear that today.
Even seeing you like perform, it was crazy seeing you perform last night over here.
Yeah, I'm glad I got to come through after you got to see me perform, so we can also
honestly, bro, that's something I really wanted to talk about because my favorite song from you is actually When We're Done. So when you did the.
It's my favorite song.
That makes me so happy. But it's like, just you doing the chorus and then doing the verse was like such a huge tease to me because I'm like, fuck, I wish you did like one more verse.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But like,
that's crazy.
So what I wanted to ask you really is like, you've been on countless stages, man. You've been Science Warner and you've done like so many amazing things in your life. You were even at like South by Southwest that one year, right?
Yep.
I guess what I'm trying to ask you is, after accomplishing all those goals and then being in like a room filled with like, I don't know, maybe like 50 people, how does that make you feel as an artist, knowing you were like from here and you're also over here right
I love
now?
it. You know, I'm gonna tell you what. When I'm on tour, popular culture, it's no different. Okay, I go to Arkansas because Arkansas, like you have to remember, I'm not huge yet.
Yeah.
So there's certain areas where I'm not known at all. The music hasn't spread to that small community. So I go to Arkansas, and this is just a tour I'm headlining. So it's only me who can sell these tickets.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget it because I'm thinking like I just sold out Chicago. And I'm like, that's cool.
Huge market.
And then I'm here, I'm like, dude, things like that made me realize that I didn't have to fear like taking a break, because I fear taking a break heavy. That's why I dropped so much music so much.
Yeah.
Like heavy. I was like, man, you can't let up on nobody. You have to continue dropping music because they're gonna forget about you. You can't let up. And so I do that show. I'm just like, that almost like was just like a moment for me that almost made me go, like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. You know what I mean? Because I sat there, I'm like I said, it's like 25 people. And I'm like pushing hard, like to try to get this album out, to get this out. And it feels like, dude, we're not getting any growth. Dude, I'm not going to drop this album. It's like all of that hit me at that show. So when I do a show like last night, which is rocking with people that, because another thing is that in that city, you know, it hasn't grown. So it's weird that, you know, I've done shows that I've, you know, performed for 10,000 people, but they weren't my 10,000 people. They weren't my 5,000 people. Those shows were awesome, and I rocked them, but they weren't my 10,000. And the people that now it's 2018, when I think about 2010 and 11 and 12, the people that were rocking those, they're not rocking that 10,000 anymore, or that 6,000 anymore, or that 5. They're not rocking those at all.
Yeah.
In fact, one of the tours I'm on, BB Rexa is a background singer on the tour. She's not in it's not BB Rexa, XV, and, you know, the other artists. It's like me, Donis, some other artists, like pop artists, and BB Rexa is the background singer for Pete Wentz.
What the fuck?
And she just, we share the same tour bus. Now I look at BB Rexa and I go, see, people, those kind of things are inspiring to me, because people don't realize, like Travis Scott, when I'm coming up, was doing the small stage at South by Southwest with like 20, 30 people. Travis Scott, with Mike Dean DJing for him. Mike Dean's DJing for him, but there's only 20 people in the crowd.
So essentially, like, you're not even worried about how many people you perform in front of, because it's an opportunity to either, I guess, really fuck with your fans or capture new fans.
Or capture new fans.
On like a very more concentrated level.
Every single time. Every time I get on stage, I look at it like this is the opportunity for me to win a new fan. I used to do shows at college campuses, and I used to always say, like, find the person who I can tell doesn't know who I am, and rap like one verse to that person. Yeah. And I would at any college show, I would do it. I would like even try to find the dude who hated him, like, there he is. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then by the end of the show, I see him. They're all the way into it. And that's all I want to do, is make you understand that like I'm just being myself. I'm just doing me, and the music is good. I feel like music being good, it overpowers everything.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
When I look at what, you know, me rocking a show that's with 50,000 people, if the music's not good, it doesn't matter. But if I rock a show with 50 people and the music's hot, you can bet that person that's rocking that show with 50 people on stage is looking out at that crowd, and he sees 50,000 because the music's good.
And was that the feeling that you were getting last
all
night?
the way. And this is the first time I've ever performed any of those songs outside of us. I performed one show for like a group of elementary boys. And I was like, yo, y'all are getting my early show. So you want to talk about like
Where was that?
It was at my school that actually my mom was a principal at. And so my girl, she's a teacher at the school that my mom was a principal at. And I used to always go up there when I'm XV. So this is a whole nother, like 5 years past. None of these kids know who I am. You understand?
Yeah.
Like that's what I mean when I say like performing for new audiences. I'm performing for a new, even though they're kids.
You could have performed old shit.
I could have performed
shit,
old,
and
it would have been new. I could have performed awesome for them and just did that. But I did all new shit, and it was kind of like last night where I'm like, yo, this is crazy.
Yeah. Well, so why was it important for you to perform in front of like what, maybe like 5-10 kids over there?
Man, you know, it was dope to me because they threw the opportunity to me maybe 3 days after I finished my portion of the album. So as soon as I finished all my studio days for the album, they hit me like, hey, XV, I know you're not doing anything right now, but if we could have you talk to these boys, we lost our music teacher. And like I said, my girl's working at the school. So she gonna, of course, put her word in like, hey, can you, do this for me?
Babe, this gonna help your career
this
out.
Gonna help you. Exactly. So I did it, and I knew I was like, I could do awesome, and when we're done, and just, go ahead and knock it out, and hey, I'm XV, I'm the rapper, da-da-da. But I said, man, I'm going to take this opportunity. I'm going to do kind of what I did last night. Like, I'm going to perform like Grammy Award selling already, and I'm coming here performing these new songs from my album that just went and that's how I looked at it. Wow. And I wanted to know, because I believe in these records. I wouldn't be putting this album out if I didn't believe in these records. Trust me. Because the journey I went down, I definitely knew, like, I don't have to do this. I knew, like, I can succeed at so many things. Yeah. So I was like, I don't have to do this. But I started working on this, and, I mean, I know that a lot of the things I didn't get being on a record label, being signed, coming up as a dude who didn't make the freshman list, I'm going to get all of these things I didn't get as that guy, as this one, because I had to go through this journey. I didn't get none of those.
I think at that point in time, you actually realize like where your values are at. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, even though the XXL freshman list is one of the most iconic things in hip hop, or, being on the cover of The Source or whatever, it's like, I think just after having this conversation with you and making sure your purpose, I feel like, is just to make sure people are connected through the music. Yes. And you don't necessarily need to do that by being on the XXL freshman list. You don't need to be on The Source. You don't even
at one point I thought I did. At one point I thought I needed those for the validation. Yeah. I thought I needed those to talk to the kids. You see what I mean? So the fact that I went and talked to the kids before I did it, and then 1 week after that, my song's being played on my local radio station. And now those kids are like when I did that song, I'm like, y'all going to hear this song on the radio very soon. I already know we're already sending this out. So when I'm doing it, it's 2 weeks before they're playing it on the radio. Yeah. And now they're playing it in heavy rotation in Wichita. And I know that these kids are like, we heard this. They were the first people to ever hear that record. And I haven't even given that record to my, Squarian public yet. Wow. I haven't even put it out on SoundCloud, SoundClick, nothing yet, nothing. So the kids got it first, and that's how I'm operating. That's how I want to operate.
Oh my God, dude! Because at that point, how many kids did you perform in front of?
It was like, I did every grade, so it was every grade from 1st to 5th grade. So it was maybe like 150 kids.
And this is why I think you're fucking so smart right now, because you literally, and they're all young. Yep. You seeded
Right.
You seated yourself in.
Yeah.
Well, let me rephrase
Yes.
that. Let me rephrase
Into these little.
I
I know where you were going
what
with
I mean?
that,
Like,
but you
you seated your
Yes.
music into
Yes.
150 people,
minds and all these minds.
You know what I mean? And they
are,
look at that moment like,
bro,
this has never happened before. I love you.
You wearing that shirt tells me everything,
Hey,
my
bro.
man. Like it
10
tells
years
me,
later, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
Later,
10 years later, like hip hop is so young. That's what this right here. Mark my words. Mark my words. It's only the beginning. For the lunch table, for XV, for Nico, it's only the beginning. And I know that as an OG now, because I sat there with J. Cole, and I remember when he walked in, I knew this is game changing for me. The way that we're here now.
This is a game changer for me, bro.
The same way. J. Cole, people say all the time, man, you and J. Cole, we came up together, but I'm a fan of J. Cole way before he knows who I am. You understand?
Yeah.
When I'm listening to the warm-up, he doesn't know who I am. We don't have the same manager, booking agent, nothing of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't on yet. I'm getting on blogs, but I don't mean J. Cole knows who I am. I'm listening to him like, wow. So when he walks in that door, DJ Enough, another sign story, Aquarius. J. Cole, Aquarius. DJ Enough set that up. And so DJ Enough is an Aquarius. Mike Posner's an Aquarius. I get DJ Enough because he hears, it feels like I'm running on walls. And let's be honest, that song's a Cudi-ish record.
Yeah.
Aquarius. So a Cudi-ish feels like I'm running on walls. And not only that, but air sign. It feels like I'm running on walls and I don't want to touch the ground. Mike Posner loves it. Cudi loves it. DJ Enough loves it. J. Cole loves it.
This shit, it's like.
And so I don't know that. And I don't know that.
You don't know that at the time.
I don't know that. When DJ Enough is saying J. Cole's behind you, I'm not like, wow, y'all both Aquariuses, which is what I would do now. Which is what I would do now. You know what I mean? I'm not like that. So that's why I know this journey it's only the beginning. Like when that happened for me, I'm looking at 7 like, wow, things are changing. That same with you, Nico. Like I'm here and you don't know how much this is, game changer for me. That was a game changer for Cole being on Enough Show.
Yeah.
So it's all just different levels and it's all just different paths. So I'm excited to see where you go, where you take it.
Card is full? Okay.
I knew I was going to do that. I knew I was going to do that.
we're still going. We're still
okay. Yeah, we're still going. All right, good.
We can still talk. Yeah, we can still talk. God damn, dude. There's just like a plethora of information in there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, as you said, like you were never there to like push the issue, and then it took years upon years for you to actually realize, like, oh,
I'm already doing this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And this is very much improvised.
Yeah. Real talk.
Yeah. God, where the fuck was I gonna go with this, man? So then now, knowing what you know, and looking back at all those times in which A, B, C, and happened, and because it all fell in line with astrology.
Yep.
Do you believe you are exactly where you need to be right now?
100%. I mean, nobody's where they want to be. Nobody's where they want to be. No matter what. We all know at some point that we are where we're supposed to be, who we're supposed to be with, our connection to the world, to the land, to our people. At some point, you just have that realization. A lot of people don't, and they stay disconnected forever. But for me, I found my purpose a long time ago. My name is XV, which is based on me finding my purpose at a young age.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I even based my rap name on purpose. Like, just to remind myself, like, when you're 30 years old, just remember you've been doing this since you were 15. So purpose has always been a driving force of my career. The fact that I just now understand how to create purpose even more, like writing a book. I never would have thought about writing no book. If you were to tell me to write a book, I would tell you, like, no, I'm making, like, they're just, there just was a lot of different walls that weren't, there before that I knocked down that were created as I became XV and learned, but I didn't know nothing about being, my sign or being around other signs. I didn't even think nothing about that energy. I just thought, like what you said, lunchroom table, the white dudes, the black dudes, these dudes, and I got along with all of them. That was it. And that's how I saw the world. But I feel like I'm more connected now so than ever. Because when you hear me say, like, DJ Enough, Mike Posner, now this makes sense to me. At one point, I was lost and confused on why I got these things.
And you just thought it was just happening just because.
Right. And sometimes you can become bitter and frustrated with moments like that when you're not where you think you're supposed to be. You know what I mean? I had a song that never came out. It's on one of my Squarian radios. Like, I am not alone. I'm exactly where I should be.
Yeah.
In my zone. Exactly where I should be. And that song was all about me. All my Squarian radio records were me trying to get out. A friend of mine told me, when you put out those Squarian radio records, I genuinely thought you were about to quit. Because I thought you were, like, putting out all your songs to leave. Like, you were going to put out all your songs and empty the vault and then leave. Because I was like, that's a good idea. I should have done that.
Yeah.
But, he's like, no, it just felt like you were emptying your vault with, like, your feelings and songs of your feelings. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of like that. But I didn't realize that I was going to find myself. You know what I mean? That was just a part of that journey. And I hate all those records, just so everybody knows. But, it was definitely just part of the journey. And this is, I feel like this project that I'm about to drop picks up where popular culture left off. You turn off the TV.
Oh, yes.
And when you hear the TV turn off on popular culture, this picks up where that TV turned off.
Did you have a name for the project?
I did. I changed it right after I finished it. Right after when I walked in, I told my manager, I'm like, yo, I'm changing the name of the project. It's going to be this. He's like, I like that. I like the other one, but I know why you're changing it, because the music changed. I had that title before I made the music, and I did that a lot with my music before.
Got you.
I would make the title before I would start making the music.
So you were kind of catering to, well, if you're not going to use
a theme.
You were catering to whatever the title was, but then by the time you're finished, you're like, it actually isn't that.
Yeah, it's not this. It's not this. And that's a cool title. That's a good theme, but that's not the theme that I ended up thinking. I thought I was going to write more about this theme, and I ended up writing more about, like, my shit. Like, you'll see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like you're not going to give us the name, which is perfectly fine.
Yes.
I totally understand that. Me as a Squarian, I'm just like, I'm super excited for him, man, honestly, because it's been a long time coming, man.
Yeah.
And, just coming from me, like, you're the type of guy who created music that, like, really revolutionized my life. You know what I mean? Like,
right. That's crazy. You don't understand how much I appreciate that.
Like, I'm talking about
Thank you.
A lot of my optimism comes from you. The fact that I say awesome definitely comes from you. You know what I mean? Like, it's that type of shit. And, I would listen to fucking, like, She Go, I Go, like, all the fucking time.
Yes.
That's my favorite song. One of my favorite songs from you, bro. And it's like...
You have good taste in my songs. I love your... We're going to have to ride...
Another one is fucking... God, what's that one off Pop Culture? Raja.
Zombie... Oh, Raja. Our Monsters?
The one... Put your titties up in the screen for me. Favorite song. Her favorite song.
Favorite song.
Yeah.
Like,
I love the R&B jam.
All right, so like her favorite song, that was the one that pushed. I said this is what we need to push, and they didn't want to push that record. That's my favorite song right there. Like, the only reason I didn't do it yesterday because I knew there weren't gonna be enough chicks. I just knew there weren't gonna be enough chicks.
Oh shit! Well, man, like, honestly, I don't want to end here, but I feel like this portion of the conversation that we're having now is coming to we can conclude it. And I'm honestly fine with that. Sometimes I'll leave podcasts, I'm like, should have said this, should have that. Yes. But I feel like this is literally only the beginning of future conversations that we will be having.
You took the words right out of my mouth, Nico. My God. For real.
Yo, great friendship, man. Like, I feel like this is the start of great friendship.
It's the beginning.
Honestly.
It definitely is.
So once again, man, this is the lunch table. Food for Thought, XV, X to the V on everything.
Yes, everything. YouTube, Instagram. Go ahead and add me, follow me. Lunch Table. I'll be back soon. We'll have to talk about the album and everything else.
Happy.
Yes. Let's do it, man. The Lunch Table, Vizzy, Squarians in the building.
Yeah.